This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Well, he did it again. In a softball interview published in a puff piece by the white supremacist alt-right hate site Breitbart.com, Donald Trump got to feeling comfortable and loosey-goosey, like he was at one of his moron-filled MAGA rallies, and used ominous, violence-advocating adjacent language to describe his supporters, issuing a warning that, at a certain point, his supporters would get tough on his opponents and political enemies, and that it would be a very bad thing. He said, quote, "You know, the left plays a tougher game. It's very funny. I actually think that the people on the right are tougher, but they don't play it tougher, okay? I can tell you I have the support of the police, the support of the military, the support of the bikers for Trump. I have the tough people, but they don't play it tough until they go to a certain point. And then it would be very bad, unquote. Look, this isn't the first time that the hilariously cowardly and physically weak Donald Trump has encouraged the violence of others while masquerading as a tough guy with a bunch of toothless talk. During the campaign, and even since having taken office, Donald Trump has repeatedly made threats and asserted that citizens who take part in constitutionally protected political protests should be physically harmed. He's encouraged police officers to physically harm suspects, not convicted, suspects of crimes during their arrest. He's even used not-so-veiled language to indicate that gun owners might kill Hillary Clinton if she were to be president and appoint liberal-leaning justices to the United States Supreme Court.
These are the people that are destroying our country. Part of the problem and part of the reason it takes so long is nobody wants to hurt each other anymore, right? And they're being politically correct the way they take them out. So it takes a little bit longer. And honestly, protesters, they realize it. They realize that there are no consequences to protesting anymore. I love the old days. You know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. That's true. You see, in the good old days, law enforcement acted a lot quicker than this. A lot quicker. In the good old days, they'd rip him out of that seat so fast. But today, everybody's politically correct. Our country's going to hell with being politically correct.
You see these thugs being thrown into the back of a paddy wagon. You just see them thrown in, rough. I said, please don't be too nice. Like when you guys put somebody in the car and you're protecting their head, you know, the way you put their hand over. Like, don't hit their head, and they've just killed somebody, don't hit their head. I said, you can take the hand away, okay?
Hillary wants to essentially abolish the Second Amendment. By the way, and if she gets to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know. But
he is a small, petty, stupid, weak bully who fancies himself an authoritarian, calling for extrajudicial punishments of citizens, murderers and thugs like Vladimir Putin of Russia, Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, or Rodrigo Duterte of the Philippines, all of whom he has showered with praises at one point or another during his presidency. Now, his supporters, who have made it part of their routine to start sentences with the phrase, well, what Trump meant to say was, they would love to explain away these latest comments to Breitbart as something innocent, as something other than what they are. But even without the context of all of the previous instances of calls to violence and disregard for the rule of law within our liberal democracy, we're able to clearly see and hear what he means. I think it's crystal clear, given Donald Trump's repeated past performance and history of threats and urgings of violence, that he is advocating for these supporters, these well-armed and well-trained supporters, to answer political opposition from Democrats and Americans who are anti-Trump with violence, especially if his presidency is under threat via impeachment or the unlikely event that there's a criminal indictment. And even though we cannot count on Republicans any longer to be decent Americans who would call out their leader as the dangerous to the republic man that he is, we can continue to carry on, content and secure in the knowledge of who we are as Americans and what the ideals are which we aspire our nation to champion and promote going forward. Trump is certainly not it, but that's okay because he's only interested in being president of a fraction of our country anyway.